So of course, you're right that Davis Aurini's levels of self-delusion are truly astronomical. Which is why, just like with the Sarkeesian effect, it's a fail. It's a train wreck that is just so difficult to stop watching. So this is just for a little light entertainment before moving on to something more sensible. So for today, if a few cheap laughs isn't your thing, then by all means, feel free to spend your time doing something more productive. For everyone else, however, buckle up and prepare yourself for the face-palming stupidity and eyeball-popping levels of lack of self-awareness of Davis Aurini. And this little exchange with him on Twitter, where Davis goes from saying, Thunderfoot is a creepy-looking weirdo, to which I reply, so after making a reputation with the Sarkeesian effect,
and the profit I'm making off of this, there might be profit once it's done, off of tickets and Netflix views and whatnot. There might be money made there. But the real thing that I'm getting out of this, aside from, living up to my promises, is networking opportunities. It's establishing me.
When are you starting your job editing video in Hollywood? To which he replies, you're incapable of responding to actual criticism, aren't you? Puerile insults is your game. Really? Going from calling someone a creepy-looking weirdo to puerile insults is your game within 10 minutes.
Himself. Yeah, it's this guy right here. I mean, white guy with dreadlocks, Welcome to the decline, folks.
Well, yes. Far be it from me to correct Mr. Pretentious, fabulous Canadian with an American flag, wearing a cowboy hat indoors. But those aren't dreadlocks. That's curly hair. Yeah, Davis Aurini, he sure as hell knows all of the keyboard shortcuts, but telling the difference between curly hair and dreadlocks.
White guy with dreadlocks, Welcome to the decline, folks.
I mean, that is just Olympic grade lack of self-awareness. Yeah, that's the sort of delusions of a guy who starts talking to women like this.
But I thought, reflecting upon it, that it would be worth addressing the difference between sluts and whores. Because I actually have nothing against whores. Whores don't bother me in the least. They're honest people. It's the sluts that I find so offensive, so reprehensible. And so in discussing sluts versus whores, I would start with the premise that all women are whores.
But thinks that deep down he's a nice guy, a perfect gentleman, and he can't see why women don't like him.
I don't know what you don't see in me. I'm the perfect guy. And yet you throw yourselves at all these obnoxious men instead of me, the supreme gentleman.
Sorry, that was the wrong video. That was Elliot Rodger. He was the guy you were comparing Jordan Owen to. This is you.
And yet trying to meet women, trying to talk to them, they have the bitchiest, the most foul attitude in the world. This is not a small group of women. This is not a minority. Oh, I'm approaching the wrong women. No. This is the majority of women nowadays. She gets to slut about with the jerks and the creatures, and not alpha males, not even close. The omega degenerate sneaky male, the criminal male, or the Muslim terrorists. They're out marrying these guys and ignoring the decent, intelligent, accomplished, masculine males.
So I also exchanged another few tweets with him, which were kind of amusing. So he says, Thunderfoot doesn't respond to fact and reason. I'm enjoying seeing him make an ass of himself. To which I reply, well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, but when can we expect to see your, world-changing documentary?
We're going to create a high-quality product that will go down in the annals of history as a high-quality documentary that, with any luck, changes the world.
To which Davis shows how he's not about puerile insults by saying, sooner than we'll see you with an attractive woman on your arm. Which, of course, is super awkward, seeing as on Davis's Facebook, this is the only woman pictured on his arm. He continues, now take your gamma level sights and get out of here. The adults are speaking.
You know, Ed, if I thought you weren't my friend, I just don't think I could bear it.
Really, Davis, I think your idea of insults are about as good as your ideas on ninja fights, where the blows land an entire meter short of the intended target. Now I know I don't have anywhere near as many toy skulls to make me an expert video editor like yourself. I mean, really, I don't even know all of the keyboard shortcuts. But I think you'll find that when someone's getting their work published in some of the world's top scientific journals, calling it gamma-ray science is kind of like saying, yeah, but when are you going to get a sports car to a guy driving a Ferrari? But oddly enough, of all the things Davis decided to defend himself on, oddly it wasn't how elite his video editing skills must be, because he knows all of the keyboard shortcuts.
When the mediator commented to somebody else that Davis is as fast at editing as anybody I know in Hollywood. I know all the keyboard shortcuts. I am very, very quick with editing.
No, it wasn't how his documentary about an underachieving con artist had taken loads of money and delivered nothing.
Davis Aurini, I will emphasize one last time, is a con man. And he is trying to con all of you out of money.
And no, he didn't decide to defend how he was going to make this great documentary that was going to go down in the annals of history. No, it was all the people criticizing him must be angry at him because they have low IQs.
This also explains, by the way, Thunderfoot's this guy that sells himself on being a scientist, on being rational. So being completely irrational is really putting a lot of egg on his face. And I mean, the guy's got like 10 times my subscribership. I probably have a much higher total IQ amongst my subscribers.
Oh, because they have brain damage.
In particular, it's something I've noticed with those that have weak or damaged amygdalas. It's that they tend to take completely innocuous statements and form conspiracy theories around them.
Oh yeah, you know this is going to be good when a guy whose entire qualifications extend to wearing a cowboy hat decides that he is going to try his hand at the mass diagnosis of brain damage.
With those that have suffered amygdalic damage, what happens when they run into somebody that they disagree with is they get triggered.
And yet trying to meet women, trying to talk to them, they have the bitchiest, the most foul attitude in the world.
They are just overwhelmed with emotions of antipathy. You know, they just get furious. They get into a panic attack.
This is not a small group of women. This is not a minority. Oh, I'm approaching the wrong women. No. This is the majority of women nowadays.
And so they can't think straight. They can't listen to what is actually being said there. Like, facts and logic go out the window for them because they are way too emotional, way too wound up.
She gets to slut about with the jerks and the creatures, and not alpha males, not even close.
You know, they're too emotionally excited. They're having too much of a panic attack to actually understand the whole argument.
The omega degenerate sneaky male, the criminal male, or the Muslim terrorists. They're out marrying these guys and ignoring the decent, intelligent, accomplished, masculine males.
They can only focus on that one little bit, and they will use that to prove that the speaker is evil, that they are bad.
And this is the part where I'm going to be a little bit secretive with you folks. We have a really interesting twist and climax to this whole thing. Act 3 is where it really gets interesting. And I won't give away the spoiler just yet, but if you pay attention and watch her video on, what is it, the True Blood. Watch her old video on True Blood and read between the lines. You might be able to figure out what the twist and the climax of this whole thing is.
This video on the structure of the film, an earlier video, that if you go watch Anita's True Blood video, you can see a hint of what he's talking about. Well, we watched that video, and Davis, based on that footage, came to the conclusion that Anita had been raped by her father, based on just that video.
And this is the part where I'm going to be a little bit secretive with you folks. We have a really interesting twist and climax to this whole thing.
With those that have suffered amygdalic damage, what happens when they run into somebody that they disagree with? Is they get triggered. So, folks, when you're out there, when you're sending out feelers, looking out for people with amygdala damage, or leftists, or narcissists, or people like that, this is one of the things you look for. If they latch onto a single phrase somebody said and take and obsess over it and then conspire about it, like this phrase means
that Anita had been raped by her father,
or that she whatever.
I walk up on them as he's standing there telling my friend, basically, we think she was raped by her father.
If they're making unwarranted conclusions based upon a single statement, that's a sign that you're dealing with somebody that's not fundamentally rational, who lacks a lot of self-control, and who is prone to panics. And if you get too close to them, they are very prone to treachery.
And you're asking if he's going to commit suicide. He is committing suicide every day. Every day is an exercise in self-loathing and self-hatred.
Jordan openly admits to having a stress disorder, a panic disorder. He's on the highest possible dosage of anti-anxiety meds.
So he goes ahead and says, get your head out of your ass. I'm working like a dog on this to get this collection of footage and somehow wrangle it into a movie, not just a YouTube movie, but a goddamn good professional documentary. All I'm asking for you to do is handle your end, and I'll make you look like the most brilliant producer who ever existed.